there will be days where, for example, we have a shoot here, a shoot at Eclectic, and then I'm off working a job. I'm making money 3 ways in one day.
Welcome to another episode of the Next Level Filmmaker Show.
So I recently just had a really cool conversation on Clark Scott's Next Level Filmmakers podcast. I did an interview with him, and I actually really liked how the interview turned out. And so I asked him if I could basically show 5 minutes of that interview on my YouTube channel and just allow you guys to kind of see what we were talking about, and then direct you guys to the YouTube podcast link that he put up, because I think it's an interview worth watching if you're a filmmaker that's trying to make a lot of money in the industry so you can work on your passion projects and do exactly what you want to do as a filmmaker. That's why I do all the things I do, not only because I love to be creative in so many different elements, but because I want to work on the projects I want to work on, and having that financial freedom and just, ability to do what I want to do is success to me. So yeah, check out our conversation. Appreciate Clark Scott for bringing me on the Next Level Filmmaker podcast, and check out a little bit of what we talked about.
So, I mean, none of it's coming for free. So how are you sustaining it, all of this?
So my biggest thing that I always try and tell people is get as many different, revenue streams as possible, as many different lines into the water as you can, because you never know when one thing's going to dry up and stop. And then so you have this other thing going for you, but also it creates also a lot more opportunities for you to bring in money and do what you want to do when you want to do it. And then allow yourself to do things like this, like go buy a movie ranch and turn it into something. Cause there will be days where, for example, we have a shoot here, a shoot at Eclectic, and then I'm off working a job. I'm making money 3 ways in one day. And that's without my Prism Lens Effects company, my Tropic Color company, which is all doing sales on the same day too. So now in the matter of one day, I'm making money 5 different ways. Oh, then we have YouTube. Then we have, you know what I mean?
Totally. Are they all under one LLC or?
Yeah. No. Sorry. No. The Jacob owns the film stuff, the locations but Tropic Color and Prism Lens Effects, they're their own thing. But that's the thing, is creating as many revenue streams and opportunities and different avenues for yourself as possible, because then you can also be like, I don't want to do that job this week to pay the bills. I'm going to work on this over here, or because you don't have to do that because you have this stuff coming in. And so it's just don't get stuck doing one thing only, especially because when that one thing only slows down or stops, then what do you do? So it's just trying to think actively and creatively, whether it's investments or just what else you could kind of get into on the side if you want to start doing YouTube on the side, or if you want to start creating online courses. There's so many different websites to share your knowledge and make money doing it. There's so many different ways to make money in today's era, and it's just all about thinking creatively and I don't know. It's just, that's the biggest thing I could say is creating as many avenues as possible for yourself and not being narrowed in on one thing. All I'm going to do is DP. That's it. Nothing else, yeah.
So are you strategic in the amount of time that you give each? Because obviously there needs to be a balance between that, because you're using the phrase as many as possible, and there needs to be a diminishing return on time, investment, etc. So I agree with you. Being able to find residual income, whether it's through commercial retainer clients, whether it's however you do it, having residual income makes being an artist and a creative much, much simpler. But you still have to be able to focus.
Right.
So how are you going about? I'm absolutely can see how the location stuff, the studios, is something that could just sit over here and you get inquiries. You put a little team around that.
Yeah, the first thing with those is go in, and I'm a fast editor. I'm a fast kind of at everything. So I think it also allows me to get a lot done that maybe most people,
you're certainly doing a lot, man. So yeah. So I think what I'm hearing from that is that think about what it is that you're doing, try and diversify, create some kind of passive. Well, I mean, none of it's passive, but certainly residual income. And at the same time, make certain that you're still kind of getting your hands dirty.
Right.
You're still expressing yourself as a director and an editor. Are they your two main kind of freelancer type roles?
Well, yeah. My two main freelance roles would definitely be directing and DPing. I don't DP as much just because it's not like what I fully enjoy doing. I do enjoy it, but not like directing and editing. Like I always edit my own projects I direct, no matter if it's film, music video, commercial. I love editing. And I think as a director, when you know exactly how to quickly, like when I'm directing, I'm already kind of editing in my head. I know what needs to go where, and it's just, I don't know, it just makes it easy and seamless and fast. If you know how to edit and you just kind of, work off both those. So those are my two. I love directing and editing. Those are my two best like freelance things like that I enjoy doing.
Yeah, me too. I think being able to edit, if you're a director, you got to be able to edit because just in terms of blocking,
right?
You don't even have to look. We just need to reverse here, but you're thinking
exactly.
from an editorial perspective,
right? No, I have a lot of people. Yeah, they'll be like they'll shoot all this stuff, not knowing like how it's gonna be placed in the edit, but maybe because they're not good at editing, or they're not sure, maybe they're a little worried that so they just shoot all this stuff. Where I'm very much an editor and directing and edit my point. Like, oh yeah, we don't need all that because I'm just gonna cut from here to here and then we're good. You know what I mean? And so
I want to pursue that a little bit. So you mentioned before about looking out and kind of, it was almost like you're looking into the future and strategizing as to whether this thing is going to be good for the career, bad for the career, good for cash flow, bad for. Are you doing any of that? Like, how are you creating? Because obviously you're not going to say yes to everything. Right, clearly, there's an attitude there of let's do it rather than no, let's not do it. So, but at the same time, I'm sure you're being strategic and making certain that what you're doing is going to be beneficial.
Like, here's even a quick example. Like I have with my buddy Tom, we have a filmmaking like editing assets post-production thing. So for like different assets and effects for editors to like improve their videos, and some artists may come to me who's just like, I would never ever say yes to just because of their budget, or it's just like I just got too much going on and they're not a big enough name or whatever. And I'll look at the opportunity and be like, all right, cool. You know what? Actually, I'm going to take this job and we have a new product that we just put out. I'm just going to take this job because I can use that new product on this video and use it as a way to promote that new product. And if people ask like, oh, what cool effect is that? Oh, it's Tropic Color. You know what I mean? And so I'm just always taking a look at that and not just being like, oh no, sorry, man. Like I'm too busy, and just kind of looking ahead being like, oh, that could lead me doing that project could lead to a lot of potential promotion and sales for my other company. You know what I mean? So kind of always doing things like that. And same thing with people that come to me with a job or relationship. Like I'm shooting a video coming up here next week. The rate is probably half of what I would normally do it for. But again, I'm going to have a BTS guy there, and I'm building kind of an online film school for cinematography with my buddy DP Tom. And so we're doing the job because it's like, we'll get some really cool BTS content out of it that we can make a couple online course videos around for the course. And so it's just always kind of like looking at like the small things that maybe you normally would be and just figuring out like how that would down the road be like you kill two birds with one stone kind of thing, and how it could be beneficial down the road. You know what I mean? And shoot, I may make some great relationships on that video that lead to a much bigger video, a month from now. Who knows? You just never know. Because I've had this is a good example. The biggest, when I first moved to LA, within 3 months, I did my first like big budget video. For me, at least, it was a $30,000 Jesse McCartney video. Hollywood was going to be there filming it and doing all this stuff. And I just remember I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. And it was the first time we ever did any sort of like beforehand. We had to audition girls and like do all this stuff. But it happened because a year prior, I had done this low-level R&B video for this producer who just needed someone who could kind of do it all, shoot, direct, edit, and that was like me, and I did it for the low. I flew out to Washington, D.C., shot the video, but he was the one heading up this Jesse McCartney project, and he was just like, I got a guy, and he literally brought me on. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and that was like right when I moved to LA. It was the first time I'd ever worked with a budget over like, 5,000-10,000, and it was just such a cool opportunity. But that wouldn't have come had I not been willing to go above and beyond that year before with that other guy. So I feel like I just kind of always look towards, I guess, a little bit of the bigger picture, you know what I mean? And just seeing how I can make those opportunities work for me in other ways, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's probably my key.
All right, cool. So what I hear is, and you even introduce yourself this way, director and entrepreneur. So
Right.
what I'm hearing is that you're leveraging your skill as an artist. That's expressing that creative aspect of your personality allows you to be the artist. But you see that without strategy, you can't do that, right? Because if there's no cash in the bank, you're off doing some other job, flipping burgers or whatever. So seeing opportunities, but without it being a kind of cheesy fucking salesy kind of thing, right? It's if you're putting good out in the world and you're getting paid for it, then that's great. So I think what I see with you is like a sense of purpose and service as well. Is that something that you kind of bring into your entrepreneurial aspect of what you do?
Yeah.
Cool, man. Any final words?
Final words, I would just, to anyone listening, is just, always try and work on something every day, take that one step. And, I always say constant creation keeps me sane. I mean, that's what works for me. And is, I think, one, makes me happy, but also has led to, all of the, things that I'm doing is just kind of, not sitting and waiting for something to come to me, but just going out, create instead of wait. So I would guess that would be, my final words: create instead of wait.